Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, the creator of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and this is where I usually answer your questions about healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. But since when you are seeing this, I will be out of the country teaching at Rancho La Puerta in Tecate, Mexico, and I could not go live. I pre-recorded this one just so you would have something to watch today. And if you do have questions, you can type it in the boxes, and then when I get back in the country, I'll answer it. So I'm very honored today to actually have a special guest with me, two in fact. Well, Bailey's always here, but this is John Pierre. John Pierre is a celebrity fitness and nutritional guru who's been following a plant-based diet almost as long as me, maybe a few years less, 33 years. He's the author of The Pillars of Health and Strong, Savvy, Safe, and who he's worked with reads like a who's who in Hollywood. But what you may not know is he is the other half of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. Even though I'm the creator, I certainly don't run this program by myself, and it certainly wouldn't be as good as it was if I didn't have John Pierre to help me. If you want to meet him in person, please consider coming to the live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference. This takes place right here, not in this hotel room, but I am in Las Vegas right now at the Tuscany Resorts, which is off the Strip, and we're having this amazing conference Labor Day weekend with myself and John Pierre, as well as with Dr. Alan Goldhammer, Dr. Doug Lyle, and Dr. Carrie Saunders, and I would be happy to give you $100 off just for watching me on Facebook every week. The Tuscany is off the Strip, so if you're somebody that says, well, I want to come to this conference, but I hate Vegas, you don't even know you're in Vegas. These are villas, guys. This room is huge. I've got a kitchen. I've got a bathtub. It's huge closets. And it's like having your own apartment, and if you don't want to see the smoke or the casino, you don't have to, because it's not attached, and either is the conference center. So welcome, John Pierre.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we started working together about 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really I couldn't have achieved the success I achieved with weight loss and fitness if it wasn't for him and what he brings to the table with all of his experience. So thanks again for doing the program with me. You know, let's talk a little bit about what the program is, because I don't think they realize that the program is interactive. And one of the things JP wants to talk about is why he believes that we've had so much success with people on the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. And I think that connectivity is one of them.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest secrets is that we have continual coaching going on online all the time with Chef AJ and myself coaching everyone, but also everyone who's doing the program is coaching everyone else. Mm-hmm. So some people have had success, whether it's been with exercise or certain recipes or different strategies, they're sharing those with you. And in some ways, it's more believable than it's coming from me, because some of these people lost 200, 300
right.
pounds.
Yeah, we've had people now that have lost over 300 pounds, like Heather on the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and people like Shada, who's lost 100, but has kept it off for 5 years when nothing before has worked.
So sometimes when you're hearing it from people who have been in the dire situation that maybe many of you are, it's more believable than hearing it from maybe myself or even AJ, although you've had quite a bit of success, and you know that the one story you did for Dr. McDougall was phenomenal.
Right, thank you. He's referring to From Fat Vegan to Skinny Bitch, which you can see on YouTube. We've created a tribe is what we've done, and especially when people eat differently, let alone just vegan, that's different enough, but then now we say, well, we're oil-free or whole food plant-based, and now we're not eating sugar and salt. People basically think we're extreme or we're nuts, and if we live in a community where nobody eats like you, it can be very isolating, but if you're in a group of like-minded, supportive people that eat pretty much exactly like you don't have to feel so isolated or alone.
Absolutely. And I think one of the secrets to this program is the laser beam focus that we really work really hard every day in instilling in everybody. And part of that laser beam focus is getting on the boards every day. And basically,
by the boards, he means the interactive private group that we have, that the only way you can join is if you join the Ultimate Weight Loss Program.
Right.
We call it the boards.
We just call it the boards. But basically getting on that every day from morning till night, you know, you're checking it 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're asking us questions. So it's getting individual coaching, just like if you are hiring us, we're basically answering your questions all day long.
Right, because for example, like Tony who watches says, well, I'm eating plant-based, why am I not losing weight? And I can't really answer that in a live Facebook Live, but if he joins the group, he can be posting his food like we all do, and then we can really critique and help people more individually.
Right, we get to see your food diary, we see your exercise diary, we see if you want to write a journal. That's all those are important components to success, is keeping track of everything.
And what's amazing is so many people have become not just friends, but like close friends, because we have to think about where we're from, and everybody puts where we're from, and then there are people now, like in Pittsburgh, for example, that are like very close friends that have become accountability buddies and accountability partners, which if it wasn't for Ultimate Weight Loss, even though they lived in the same city, they may never have met. And we have that actually with all over the world now, people in different countries that are meeting thanks to the, having this.
Sure. And same thing with the Fitbit. So a lot of people have Fitbits, and so basically they just buddy up together and they get 5 or 6 people, and then they're just continually seeing who's got more steps in today. They make a game out of it, and it just keeps them motivated and challenged all the time.
Right, and it gives you a soft place to fall if you do relapse, and people do relapse on every program, and we don't judge you, we still love you, but people there really get you and understand you, whereas a lot of times our families don't, especially with food addiction. People understand overweight and people understand dieting, but a lot of people still don't acknowledge or believe that this is an addiction, and by this we mean sugar, flour, and alcohol, not broccoli, kale, and Brussels sprouts. And especially if they're married to people that are maybe slender or don't have the same problem, or their kids don't, and they feel like, well, I can't talk to anybody about it. Well, you can talk to us. I am a recovering food addict. JP is not a food addict, but he's worked with thousands, and so we get it. We understand that, which is where I think we're different from really any program, because we combine all the 70 years of plant-based knowledge that we have with some of the things we've learned in the food addiction world, and we've married them together to create a program that is great for weight loss, whether you're a food addict or not, and it's also great for overall health, but it specifically addresses those that really can't stop eating certain foods.
Right, and the program isn't just about weight loss, it's about getting healthy not only physically but also emotionally, which is really the main thing that we really talk about, is how you don't have this tug of war going on in your brain all the time, pulling you left and right, which drives people crazy. We want you to have that calm, ease brain, so you're just always at ease and you're just calm, and you're not having this it's like a bipolar, these highs and lows, this extremes highs and extreme lows, which is the worst thing for you physiologically in terms of weight gaining, weight loss, weight gaining, weight loss, but it's the worst for you emotionally, and also it causes high levels of cortisol, which can induce body fat and also can destroy the brain. The hippocampus, the region of the brain that's responsible for memory, gets destroyed with all this cortisol going through your system. So that's part of, I think, the secret to our success is the support system we have. But also we're using lots of different modalities. We're using different essential oils in the program. We're using some green powders. We focus quite a bit on exercise and movement, and not just about a regimented exercise, but we have a way to get you to sneak movement in throughout the day, which is more important than just a half hour in the morning or an hour in the evening, is to be active throughout the day. And so we go over all that on the boards all the time.
I love what you said about the calm, stable brain, because people don't realize that when you achieve that, the weight really does start falling off. When I met JP 7 years ago, we started teaching together, and he said, until you deal with this, you're not going to be able to deal with this or this. And it's so true. And a lot of people say to me all the time, well, I'm at conferences all the time. I'm at one this weekend. Well, aren't you going to eat this? Aren't you going to have a treat? And what people don't realize is when you get the slender body you've always wanted, and you have the stable brain, that's the treat. That becomes the treat.
Right. Yeah, when you have a high-fat diet, especially high oils, and your blood starts sludging, and your red blood cells start sticking together, you get tired. And then when you get tired, what do you need to get out of that? You need a snack, and it's not going to be broccoli slaw. It's some sort of stimulant, some sort of caffeine or high-sugar food again, and then that causes this rebound hypoglycemia, so you get this high, and then you come crashing down, you get the low. So not only do you have it with your body, this bipolar high and low, but you have it with your brain. So on our program here, we just keep you steady. It's kind of like putting a log on a fire. It's a constant source of burning energy. So if you would have candy, let's say, that's like a piece of paper on a fire. Poof, it's gone. You get a high, and then boom, you come crashing. So the calm, stable brain is one of the most important components to this program. And it's induced via the diet, and induced some of the other modalities that we use with essential oils and meditation and breathing techniques.
And those are things that I don't really address on Weight Loss Wednesday, because they're more his area of expertise, and also just his, join the program. One of the things I'd love for you to talk about, and I don't touch on too much because you know more about it than me, because I have a tendency to just remember good, bad, is diet soda, especially the ones that are sweetened with aspartame. I was talking to somebody last week, a client actually, and she said that she used to actually, years ago, work for Coca-Cola, and that they had documentation many years ago that stuff was poison, that I believe that it's linked to even Alzheimer's. And we have people maybe watching today, and certainly we have people still in Ultimate Weight Loss that are still addicted to Diet Coke, and I try to explain to them that all sugar, whether it's real or fake or 0 caloric or 4 calories per gram like real sugar, is not ever going to be favorable for weight loss or food addiction, but that these 0 calories ones, the stevia, erythritol, xylitol, especially the aspartame, are especially deleterious. And I know that we've shared some clients that have that particular addiction. Can you talk a little bit about why it's so detrimental?
Well, I think one of the main reasons is that artificial sugar is hundreds of times sweeter than sugar. So once you have that blast of sugar, even though it's technically not a calorie, it's making you crave more sugar. So in other words, it takes you from this calm, stable brain, and it gives you this super high spike, and then you're searching around for more sugar. And eventually you'll break down and go away from the artificial sweeteners and go to real sugar again. And that real sugar will be in the form of some sort of donut or cookie or something. So again, it's playing that tug of war with your brain, and then eventually when you're stressed or you have some sort of issue that's going on that's causing you problems, you'll break down and you'll have sugar.
But what's interesting is to most people, except for those that are addicted, it doesn't even taste good. So what happens with a person that can get addicted to something that it's really quite nasty?
Well, yeah, it's again the hyperpalatable. So what happens is our brain is used to, let's say we're driving on the expressway 50 miles an hour or 55, and then you come off on the ramp and you go on the side street. You're used to going 55 miles an hour, and now all of a sudden you're going only 25 and it feels too slow to you. You have to neuroadapt. So you're never going to neuroadapt when you're trying to get off sugar, and then you go to artificial sugar, which is 100 times higher than sugar, so you can never neuroadapt. It's worse for you. I'd rather actually have a client drink sugar
Me too.
than actually artificial sweeteners.
And that's what I say too. And I find that the people that are, of course there's going to be exceptions, but at least the ones that I've worked with, they're heavier. The ones that are in the artificial ones, as bad as sugar is for you, it seems that the people that do the artificial ones are always heavier.
And it still causes an insulin response. Even if you just put sugar in your mouth and spit it out, you have an insulin response. If you just think of a sugary food, you have an insulin response. And definitely, when you have an artificial sweetener, you still get an insulin response. So your body's still pumping out all that insulin, and insulin is a fat-storing hormone.
Isn't aspartame, though, particularly deleterious, like to our brains?
Yeah, you can get some of the same symptoms as like MS, so neurological problems. Matter of fact, when aspartame first came out, there was a class action lawsuit from the pilots who were flying, jets, that they were having visual disturbances in the cockpit and also hallucinations.
That's not what you want for your pilot.
No, you don't want that for anybody. So yeah, the program is designed to get away from all hyperpalatable foods and almost think of just in terms of having these spikes all day long. We just want it to be calm and steady. And almost everybody on the boards always mentions, I love this way of eating because I feel calm and steady. It's like 2 words they always use, calm and steady.
I agree. So many people in general and on our program, if they're going to relapse, they use stress. That's what they say. Well, I had a stress. Family member got sick or died, or dog. Things happen to people. And again, I'm not minimizing it. Things happen to me too. How do you help people deal with these things in a manner that doesn't send them right back into the cookie jar?
Well, imagine if somebody had stress and they were to beat their spouse. That's not acceptable, right?
Right.
And what would you say to them? What would you say? What would a wife say if a husband was beating a spouse? What would the family say to the husband?
Well, I know what I'd say. I'd say, don't let the
right,
door
but
hit
what
you
would you
on the way
ultimately, if you were trying to help them, you'd say you need to go get what?
Psychological help.
Absolutely. So you need to get some sort of counseling for one. Number 2, you have to find a way to either one, avoid the stressor, or to at least learn how to deal with it in a healthy way. So that's part of what we try to do, is we try to share with you techniques and modalities to help you learn to deal with stress. But obviously, the less stress that you inflict on yourself, and I say you inflict on yourself, because remember, stress is generally something that you inflict on yourself. It's a mind frame, right? So in other words, if Bill Gates lost $500, he wouldn't even notice it. But if we lost $500, we will. But that's because it's our mindset, right? So we try to give you techniques and how to deal with stress. And we also talk about, the dangers of stress from, again, we talk about the hippocampus, so your brain, what it does to your arteries. Everything's constricting, it's fight or flight. So all this glycogen is being released from the muscles, epinephrine's going out, adrenaline, all that's going out. Capillaries are tightening up. Everything that's disastrous for you is happening. So we do everything that we can in this program to help with meditation, exercise, essential oils, things that help calm and alleviate stress.
Have you had a client that has been just incredibly successful? I mean, I know we share a lot of clients. I don't really do consults anymore, but JP does, and you can actually get for $75 a 30-minute consult with him on fitness, nutrition, whatever. You can get right on my website, eatonprocess.com. But is there somebody that you could maybe talk about? Not obviously not saying their name, unless we've talked about them before, like Shada, that just really went from being just a severe food addict or Diet Coke addict to having this calm, stable brain?
Sure. Yeah, I had one client in particular that came to me. They had a blood sugar of over 600.
Oh my!
She had 2 heart attacks and a stroke and was in a wheelchair. So, I mean, she was at death's door basically, and she was in handfuls of medication.
I think I know who you mean, lovely gal. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she's completely, obviously when I first started working with her, almost immediately we got her sugar down fairly normal, probably 125, which was still high, but to go from 600 to 125, and she was a diabetic. She's actually what they call a 1.5 in between. So, yeah, and then of course she got off handfuls of medication, and then she started losing all this weight, and eventually, when she got out of the wheelchair, eventually after I did physical training with her, she was able to stand on stage. I think you might have been there. She stood on one leg, on high heels on one leg, and this was a woman that was in a wheelchair. So, sure, we did, the SOS-free type diet, lots of different exercise, but it was a lot of stress reduction that we did with her too, in essential oils. So it's kind of the whole package. It's just not one thing. It's not just the exercise or the diet or stress. It's everything.
Because if you just want the diet, you just do the diet. Because you don't need to join Ultimate Weight Loss to eat the way I tell you. I do videos all the time. They're free. My webinars. The program is the program, the comprehensive gleaning from our experience, getting to ask us questions 24 hours a day, except for when we're sleeping, we're not answering, and the other people in the group. I noticed you're wearing a T-shirt that says compassion. So that's something you're really big on. And why is that important in this journey, or just in general?
Well, first of all, I think in my book, The Pillars of Health, it's the last 2 chapters I write about compassion and love, which are, in my opinion, the most important. Because when you're compassionate and loving, you're not going to hurt yourself. So when you have more compassion and love, where you decide to stick your fork is always going to be something healthy. Where you put your spoon is going to be something healthy. You're not going to be eating a pork chop or bacon. You're going to be having some mango or some greens because it's healthy for you. So I think the more compassion and love that you bring into your life, the better your choices will eventually be. Now, right now, you're just starting here, and our goal, let's say, is to get here. So it's okay. We understand there's a continuum. You've got to start somewhere. But again, that's one of the reasons that on the boards we're continually talking about compassion and love. We talk a lot about affirmations and vision boards, and we ask a lot of different questions on questions that you should be asking yourself every day too. So compassion and love, to me, if we could call the program, instead of the Ultimate Weight Loss, if we could call it the Ultimate Compassion and Love Program, it'd be great. It just wouldn't sell.
Right. And it's funny because even though it's called Ultimate Weight Loss Program, a lot of people prefer to call it the Ultimate Way of Living or the Ultimate Warranty for Life. Because we have a lot of people in the program that are not even overweight, that are not food addicts, that join as nurses and doctors and health coaches just to get a chance to be with people that actually eat this way and like-minded people, because the diet style that we recommend, which is the same that Dr. Goldhammer's been eating for 40 years and teaching at True North for 32, is still the safest, sanest, healthiest way to eat on the planet, whether you're overweight or not, whether you're a food addict or not.
And we do talk quite a bit in the on the boards about the certain supplements that you should have, because there are certain supplements
like
you
B12,
definitely.
yep.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different supplements, and everyone's individual. So a lot of times people ask questions about whether it's thyroid or whatever their issue is, and then we answer them, because supplements are important. So you do need some supplements. But basically, I think the program is very, very well-rounded. As AJ said, we have about 70 years together, and I work with a lot of extreme different groups. My specialty is actually in geriatrics, enhancing cognitive functioning in seniors, but I work with kids who have Down syndrome. I work with military and law enforcement, and then a good majority of my time I work with women who have been abused. And with that abuse comes lots of emotional issues and self-esteem issues. So that program, the Ultimate Weight Loss, is actually perfect for most of those people.
One of the things I remember is you had worked with a gal in a wheelchair, and there was an article done about you guys in a magazine. And I know that we have people watching that maybe have certain disabilities. Maybe they're too heavy to exercise right now, or maybe we even have people in Ultimate Weight Loss in a wheelchair. Is there any either advice you can give them or hope you could give them that even within their limitations, there's always something that they could do?
Well, first of all, we all have limitations. So on Ultimate Weight Loss, we don't have a competition here. So we don't want anyone to look at somebody's running 12 miles a day and somebody else is in a wheelchair. We don't want them to think they're not doing well or it's a competition. So the whole secret with movement is it's designed to keep your body healthy. So it really doesn't matter what type of movement you do, as long as it's not something, you know, dangerous. But whether it's walking or power walking or jogging or mini trampoline or just sitting in a chair and lifting your arms over your head or hitting a balloon back and forth with somebody, the whole idea is not to burn calories. We've never said that exercise is for weight loss. Does it facilitate it? Yes, of course. You build muscle. Muscle's metabolically active. It's eating more calories than fat would be. It helps lower your sugar levels. That's fine. But the main reason we're encouraging movement is to increase your circulation, to get your endorphin levels going. So if you have mild to moderate depression, you don't feel as bad. You feel more energized. And of course, to oxygenate your system and get your circulation so your red blood cells are delivering oxygen more adequately and you have more energy. And of course, build bone density, everything. There's many reasons to be moving, but the secret is to be moving all day long. We just don't want you to do your half hour in the morning and check it off and say you're done. Now I've got 23 and a half hours of sedentary living left. No, we don't want that. So we talk a lot on the boards on how to sneak stuff in. And as AJ said, if you're in a wheelchair or say you're elderly and your limitation is, or you have limitations, that's okay. You just do what you can do.
And we have people that are quite elderly in the program. I think 90 is the oldest.
Well, again, my background's in geriatrics, so I would go into retirement homes and senior centers and adult daycare centers and get seniors moving and do fall prevention programs all the time. So it's whatever you can do is completely fine, as long as you start here. And the secret is, as long as tomorrow you do a little bit more. You take a step up the ladder. So we're always trying to keep building you up.
Right, exactly. So if you really want to talk to this guy, I encourage you to get a consult, but even more so, consider joining Ultimate Weight Loss, because right now, because this has been pre-recorded, you can't be interacting with him and asking questions, but when you're in the program, you can be doing it all day. Well, thank you so much for all your expertise and your passion and your compassion. You have both. And if you'd like to see us together again right here in Las Vegas, please consider coming to our live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference. This is not an annual conference, guys, at least not in Las Vegas. We've made it a place that's very fun and affordable. You can bring your families. If your families do not want to attend the conference, you can buy just meals from them. They're going to be fabulous. We did a tasting yesterday, and you can see all these great speakers. So I will be back live next week at 4 p.m. Pacific time, every Wednesday for Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ. Thank you so much for watching. And both of us, myself and Pierre, truly believe you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve.